While the rest of the industry is in uproar about the death of native pixels, I wanted to take a look at a game that actually respects the hardware it's running on. I honestly think Death Stranding 2 should have won Best Art Direction at the Game Awards over Expedition 33. While I genuinely do believe Expedition 33 deserved every award it got, besides that one, and understand why Kojima looked so upset when he got snubbed for that one specifically. Nvidia wasn't hiding that there was an end goal for all this for like a while now. I remember when the 5090 was first revealed, Jensen himself stated that their goal was to have like whole games AI generated. So like people getting mad at this now because they put like an AI beauty filter over Grace's face finally have something to put with the concept. It puts it into perspective how rapidly we're like unlearning everything that has got us here in the gaming industry. When they have their AI quote unquote infuse their pixels with lighting, it often smooths out the micro expressions that actors in the game like Norman Reedus that they bring to the performance. Optimizations and like creative solutions used to be like a priority back in the day. Metal Gear Solid 5 on the PS3 literally defied the limitations of the technology. A fully open world on the most notoriously hard to develop console. In an era where like modern developers can barely get a hallway simulator to run at a stable 60 FPS without any crutch of frame generation, we tend to forget that Metal Gear Solid 5 was a fully realized systemic open world that ran on the PlayStation 3. Think about the hardware limitations of 2006. The PS3 was notoriously difficult to develop to because it had a split RAM architecture and a CPU that acted like a GPU that gave developers nightmares for a decade. Yet through the Fox engine, Kojima Productions delivered a game that looked better and ran smoother than almost anything else on the market, solely because they utilized creative optimization. They understood how to prioritize what the player sees, using aggressive but seamless level of detail transitions, clever baked lighting, and a physics engine that prioritized gameplay feel over unnecessary realism calculations. Metal Gear Solid 5 was a miracle of technical direction because it proved that limitations are actually the greatest fuel for creativity. When you have a finite amount of power, you have to be diligent in that efficiency. You have to decide exactly where every single byte of memory goes. Fast forward to today, and that discipline is dead. Modern AAA developers have become addicted to the DLSS safety net. Instead of optimizing for the native render, developers will now just assume that the user will toggle on that AI filter to reconstruct the missing pixels. We're sold the idea that neural rendering is progress. Metal Gear Solid 5 is proof that it's actually a regression. If a team could make an open world masterpiece run on 512 megabytes of RAM in 2015, there was absolutely no excuse for a game to require frame generation to be playable on my 6900 XT today. Like, I get it, my card is like 6 years old, but it's still the most powerful version of the same GPUs that are used in the Series X and PS5, which are still, must I remind you, the current consoles. Even though like Helix and like PS6 are coming up on the horizon, they're not even going to be that much faster. If I remember from like the specs correctly, it's going to be like 2 times faster max. That is the smallest generational leap ever in consoles. So like Death Stranding 2 using the Decima engine is the spiritual successor to that Fox engine philosophy. So like I just wanted to give some praise for Kojima doing it again with Death Stranding 2 to ignore the AI slop ridden world we're inevitably gonna have to contend to. Optimization is obviously not prioritized anymore. With DLSS and FrameGen being so prevalent, now they want to get rid of graphical enhancement as a whole with the introduction of their DLSS 5. While it does honestly help with global illumination, the cost of the creative vision and the obviously AI beauty filtered character faces is not something I don't think any of us should want. The endless pursuit of photorealism for games has led to diminishing returns so bad that I've seen people just say, oh, don't use it, bro, or actively convince themselves that the new AI slot filter is progress worth sharing, and the violation of artistic direction is a worthy sacrifice to them. Another problem is engine homogenization. Almost every new game is being built with Unreal Engine 5. The RE engine and the Decima engine are the only 2 exceptions I can think of on top of my head, but they are most definitely the exception, since the only 2 recent games that use it are like Resident Evil 9 and now Death Stranding 2. Regardless, every game is starting to look and feel the same. Delta Force and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, complete polar opposites. They look like they could share a game series. Lighting, effects, and shadings are all the same regardless of the franchise because of Unreal Engine's utilization. Creative direction is restricted because there's not really a way to make it look different when everything is ray traced, since there's only one way light reacts realistically. If every AAA game is built on Unreal Engine 5, optimized for similar hardware using the same lighting and ray tracing systems, then even a new console couldn't feel revolutionary. Creative risk is limited. Storytelling innovations, unique art directions, and specific hardware optimizations are harder to justify when the baseline engine and tools are the same everywhere. Death Stranding 2 proves that it's still possible, although Kojima is one of the greatest minds in the gaming space. Look at Todd Howard. He's singing DLSS 5's praise because the team is just creatively bankrupt. Changing Creation Engine 2 and putting a 3 at the end doesn't change the game. It doesn't make anything new. You're just using the same stuff and trying to rebadge it to like get people hyped. So where does this leave us? We're standing at a crossroads. On one side, you have the neural rendering future, a world where developers stop optimizing, where every game shares the same Unreal Engine lighting model, where AI beauty filters decide what Norman Reedus' face should look like, in a world of diminishing returns masked by high-resolution noise. It's SLOP disguised as progress. But on the other side, you have Death Stranding 2. Watching this raw gameplay on my 6900 XT today, without the crutch of DLSS 5 or frame generation hallucinations, has been a massive reality check. It proves that native pixels still matter. I don't dislike DLSS in the sense of upscaling, but the AI generation part is just something I'm so against. It proves that optimization is an art form in itself when a game actually cares about what it's making, instead of just relying on frame gen. It's a discipline that hasn't been well executed since Kojima was squeezing blood from a stone on the PS3 with the Fox engine. When we talk about Expedition 33 winning best art direction over this, we're missing the point. Expedition 33 is a beautiful game, but Death Stranding 2 is a technical statement. It's Hideo Kojima looking at an industry obsessed with automated realism and saying, nah, I'm gonna build my own world with my own tools, and he's gonna make it run better than any brute force AI upscaled mess. We are rapidly unlearning the skills that are built in this industry. We're trading creative risks for engine stability and trading artistic intent for ground truth ray traced shadows. But if every game looks the same because they all use the same shortcuts, then the magic of a new console generation is officially dead. Kojima's upset look at the Game Awards wasn't just about a trophy. It was a look of a man who knows he's the last one doing technical art in a room full of people who just want to hit the render button on a stock engine asset. I'm keeping this footage raw because it's the only way to show you the truth. Just a Decima engine doing what it was built to do. We shouldn't be asking for better AI. We should be demanding for the artistic intent to show through. For the love of gaming, stop settling for the slop.